love Otis Redding, and you know, the video that we kind of played before, you just see the energy that that guy had, and it was such a sad thing for soul music when Otis passed away, but Steve was an integral part, and like the rest of these guys were an integral part of Otis's life. I mean, Steve wrote Sitting on the Dock of the Bay with Otis, and a bunch of other stuff, and you know, Duck and Steve, I used to watch these guys when I was young, and see these two guys on stage with Otis, my hero. And Steve, do you want to tell us a story about Otis? There was one you told me about when the first time he kind of sang to you.
The first time we met Otis, we were actually booked in the studio to record a guy named Johnny Jenkins. You guys may not know him, but he was a left-handed upside-down guitar player, just like, as we all know, the greatest. And he had a little hit out there called Love Twist, and he was having trouble getting a follow-up to it, so they thought, let's bring him down to Stax and we'll get a follow-up. So we booked Al Jackson and Duck Dunn and Booker T, and there we were. And we've been waiting and waiting and waiting, and they were coming up from Georgia. So we're standing out on the sidewalk in front of the studio, and this, I don't know, what kind of car was it, Doc? It wasn't a Cadillac, was it? What was it? And we're standing there, and this car pulls up, pulls down. You don't remember. You remember what kind of, I don't remember what car it was. But the guy driving the car gets out, and we go, holy Jesus, look at this guy. I mean, he's like 6'6", he's on there. Jesus. And he gets out, takes the keys, and he goes around to the trunk, and we're standing there watching it, and he unlocks the trunk, and he starts pulling out guitar amplifiers and guitars and microphones and all that. So I go over and I walk over and I said, hey man, you know, we're not going to need those microphones. You know, this is studio recording. We have our own microphones. He said, well, I got to bring all this stuff in. I said, oh, okay, you know. So in those days, they were not called roadies. They were called valets. So we thought, there's a guy driving the car. He's getting the crap out of the trunk, so he's got to be Johnny Jenkins' valet. And so we come on in, and Johnny sits up, and we start talking about it. And so we cut all day long, didn't we? I mean, we cut hard. We work at it really hard. Well, during one of the breaks, Al Jackson, our drummer, came to me and he said, you know that guy that was driving the car that came in? I said, yeah. And he said, well, he sings, and he's wanting you to hear him sing. And I was, in those days, designated A&R director, so I got to audition all of the great singers that came by. God, I wish GUY SEBASTAIN had showed up. But anyway, I said, okay, you know, whatever. So we finished the session, and everybody's tearing, and you know, they're tearing down, they're leaving, they're going, because everybody had night gigs in those days. And Al Jackson came down and said, Crop, he said, you got time to listen to this guy? And I said, what are you talking about? You know the guy I told you about? He's dying for you to hear him sing. And I said, well, okay, you know, okay, come on. Brought him down to the piano. And I said, well, this big old tall guy, and I said, well, play something. He said, I don't play nothing. I play a little guitar. He called it a guitar. Not a guitar, he called it a guitar. Y'all understand that down here. And he said, I don't play any piano. And I said, what key you singing? I don't know. He said, do them church chords. He called them church chords. Well, we call them triplets. You know about them triplets. So I started playing them triplets. Marvell Thomas had showed me in the key of D flat. And this guy goes, these arms of mine. My hair stood up about 25 inches, and I went over them. So I grabbed Duck, I grabbed Jim Stewart, and I said, you got to come hear this guy. And we started this thing, These Arms of Mine, and so the whole rest of the week was dedicated to Otis Redding himself. Because we had never heard anybody sing like that until GUY SEBASTAIN.
Isn't that a great story? I mean, we've been lucky enough to hear all these stories, like, you